RP Show continues live from Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. You'd think I'd have this ready to go. Hour 2 brought to you in part by The Mad Greek for legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late night bites. It's The Mad Greek Eatery, open till 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in. Check out their website, themadgreekeatery.com. Dave Petrishen is neither mad nor Greek. He's got my favorite shirt on. How you doing, sports doctor?
Fantastic. I finally got granted your wish and wore the shirt on the show.
How many times have I asked you to wear that thing on the air?
Every time I'm on.
Yeah, okay, so every time. It's every time. Yeah. David,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you. It's Labor Day. Is this the best highlight of your year, Labor Day Classic weekend, or not?
It truly is. It's the back-to-back. It's the back-to-back with the game on Sunday and then the return matchup, the Banjo Bowl, the following Saturday. And it was way more fun when you used to come to town for the Banjo Bowl because we get to see it twice. But we're going to take what we can get this weekend.
Does it feel like old times now? And if so, because to me it does, why is that?
I don't know. I mean, we're never out of contact, but I guess it's a much more special when we get to see each other in person. Like last year when we left Ballers Rec Room to go to Crave and Derek Taylor was there, Rod Smith was there, Paul Lapalisse was there. That was just a great meeting of the sports play-by-play media guys.
Yeah, it was fun. But I mean, as far as the Labor Day Classic weekend goes, there had been some steam lost over the past few years. You weren't coming over, right? And a lot of Bomber fans were not, but now you wouldn't miss it. And I'm kind of wondering what changed other than maybe because the Bombers and Riders have been good for a while, but now both teams are very good. That's what I'm saying. I feel like these games this week and next are like the old days.
Yeah. Well, I explained that. I think the last time I was there with the old Mosaic Stadium was the 55-0 loss, Tim Burke's first game as head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers after they dumped Paul Lapalisse. And I got to tell you something, and it's probably the same with the old Canad Inn Stadium. When the Saskatchewan Roughriders moved into their beautiful new stadium, it was a better class of people. That's for sure. I was no longer. We came for the opening day. It was the Rough Riders versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We weren't getting pelted with peanuts and ripped up beer cans and hit with flags. It was a great environment. And the excitement from opening day at Mosaic Stadium till now has still been the same. It's a great game day experience. And I'm sure people that came to Winnipeg probably thought the same thing when they came. But for something about this, it's just upped both teams' games. And aside from 2023, when I had a wedding on that Sunday, I haven't missed one since then. So it's been great. And the last two have been 2023, 2024 have been just ultra competitive games. And I'm looking forward to this. I know that in the last segment, you explained that the Rough Riders were, I think, 6-point favorites. I think that's what you said. But, it's going to be with Dalton Schoen returning to the Winnipeg Blue Bomber lineup. And we're seeing some more clicking that we saw last week with the Bomber win. I think it's going to be a very competitive game.
Yeah, it's funny. We've done an hour and 20 some minutes of the show today and have not actually got into the games. I guess we got a few more days to do that on the program. And your boy Abu is going to be on with us on Friday, which is a Labor Day weekend tradition that we have him on the Friday. But like I feel like it's a bigger game for Winnipeg than it is the Riders, to be perfectly honest with you. I do, but I shouldn't speak for the Bombers. Give me your perspective on what this game means for the blue and gold.
Well, most people say that the CFL season really doesn't begin until September, until Labor Day. And that's absolutely the case. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers got off to a lousy start last year. And we're a bit better this year with the 6-4 record. Saskatchewan's been knocking out of the park, except for the devastating loss last week in Calgary. So I think, the 5-time Grey Cup finalists and the 8-2 Saskatchewan Roughriders, this just makes a marquee matchup. This is just like going to be a test for both teams. Is Saskatchewan for real, and are the Winnipeg Blue Bombers ready to get back and be in the Grey Cup in their own home stadium in November? So that's why. And both fan bases are absolutely incredible. But we're talking, I think we're going to be the Banjo Bowl in a week will be our 12th consecutive sellout at Princess Auto
Mm-hmm.
Stadium. So it's just football's gone mad in Manitoba with with the success of the Bombers, the success of the events, what Wade Miller has done. We've talked about this at length before. Football is premier right now. We haven't gone into hockey season yet, but it's right at the first and foremost of everybody's mind. And even if you're not at Mosaic Stadium on Sunday, there's more and more places. I'm just reading online just before we went on the air. This place is hosting the party on the Sunday. This place is, and this is the way it used to be. I bet you probably the late '80s, early '90s. It was like when there wasn't a restaurant bar, a lounge anywhere in town that wasn't showing the game. And so this is it's getting back to where it's back to where it's used to be, and it's just a credit to both football fan bases.
Well, that's what I was fumbling to get out of my mouth, is that it feels like the old days. But we had your boy Bob Irving on Knuckles last week, and I said, where are we on the Bombers? Like, is the window closing? Is it closed? And I say that respectfully. You know how I would talk to Knuckles and how I feel about your franchise, Dave. But you've had some knocks in games. Calgary's wailed on you, and you are hosting the Grey Cup. You're hosting the Grey Cup. Like here in 2013, when we were in that situation, the team president, Jim Hobson, said to Brendan Tammet and Corey Chamberlain, win it or you're gone. Walked out of the office. And they did. They did.
Yeah.
What's the pressure in Winnipeg like that? Have you heard, or what do you think?
I haven't heard such a drastic statement, but I don't think anybody has the panic button on. Again, like how we started last year with the 4 consecutive losses, and I think the 8 games in, I think we might have been 2-6. I might be wrong on that, but it wasn't. It was grim, and the Bombers rebounded. I think they won 11 straight the end of the season, and then win the playoff game, and boom, you're back in it. So you're never out of it. We're in 3rd spot right now. Yes. Like you just said, Calgary in the last segment, Calgary is the best team in the Canadian Football League, beating Saskatchewan twice, beating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's something. It's going to be something to see these two teams, how they rebound after those Calgary losses, and what comes the second half of the season, the most important half as we march towards the playoffs. But I haven't heard that drastic statement yet, win or you're gone, to Kevin Walters or Mike O'Shea.
That we know of.
No.
John Ohm in Winnipeg, big Rider fan, says Willie Jefferson will be pumped for this game. Willie, you should still be in green, bro. Well, I'll tell you what. Money talks, Mr. Whalen, and the Bombers paid Willie. That might be the best investment in Bomber history, Dave. What do you think?
I have to agree. I mean, there's nobody that, like, he's so entrenched in Winnipeg. No one ever realized. I don't think anybody realizes that he played on other teams before. He's been so entrenched in this community, been part of so many great teams, a staple in the community. His wife with the little girl run around the field after the games and things like that. He's truly makes his home around here year round and stuff. So he's out about everywhere, and whether it be like, it's almost like the old days when football players were at car dealerships on the weekend and shaking hands and kissing babies. That's Willie Jefferson.
Oh, it's funny that John would say that, because it's hard to believe that he was ever a Rough Rider, to be honest. It was a fleeting time. They didn't win when he was here. And, I don't need to get into why he left. But I'll say this. We've criticized the Rider regime over the last while, frankly, since Chris Jones left. And while they haven't won anything yet, sitting at 8-2, Dave, it's pretty hard to poke holes in their roster or what they're like right now. It's going to be a hell of a second half, dude. It's going to be a hell of a second half is what it's going to be.
Yeah. We saw the Saskatchewan Roughriders starting to bubble last year. Like, we knew something was going. It was I don't want to say culture change, but there was just an attitude change, and there was no. And I think everybody, professional athletes, has a focus on winning, but I think that desire to win really, really came out last year with Corey Mace coming to town.
I should mention this. The viewer, who is it here? Monty in Saskatoon writes in and says, are the teams doing anything for Craig Smith? Now, I would think that they will. And I don't know if you've had history with Craig Smith. Like, he was a friend of mine, and sometimes you don't realize how big a deal these guys are. I was surfing the news wire the other day, and a story came up on Craig Smith. Longtime CFL scout and personnel man Craig Smith passes away at age 69, which was on Sunday, just a couple of days ago. And he did work for the Riders and the Bombers. So proud of both those organizations. Dave, did you have any brushes with him? I got to think that you did.
Yeah, probably one of my very first appearances on your show at the old studios in Regina. Craig was on, and we've always been like message buddies through Facebook Messenger and things like that ever since that, and always liked his stuff. And yeah, like everybody was pulling for him, and the more I messaged, the more I learned about what he did, and looking at now and posthumously the impact he's had on so many teams and the Canadian Football League. He was a great man.
Well, I don't know what the teams are going to do, but let's just say I would be stunned if he was not recognized on the Jumbotron prior to the Labor Day Classic and the Banjo Bowl, because he had such a huge impact with both teams. And also the BC Lions sent out a really nice note, I'm sure you saw it this week as well, on Craig winning a Grey Cup with them in 2000, and said that he represented their team with dignity and class. And I thought, wow, whoever crafted that is very good at what they do and must have known Craig. Dave, to the time we have left here, the National Football League, we had Blaine wrote in and said Adam Thielen has been reacquired by the Minnesota Vikings. That's, I think, since we've been on air. Your thoughts on the Purple Skull as we get ready for the new season?
As doing my prep just on the last segment, I said, that's been bubbling for the last few days. Obviously the premier receiver in the National Football League, Justin Jefferson, JJ, and it's going to be fun watching JJ to JJ. But you need more than weapons, because sometimes there's two or three guys covering Jefferson. So yeah, Adam Thielen, which makes me very happy because I can wear my Adam Thielen jersey again to the Vikings games and with no additional cost. But again, first season, the pedigree that JJ McCarthy brings to the team, we're just going to see what happens. Like, we don't know. It's the unknown. It's a much, much different game that we all know from college to pro football. But, the interesting thing is, with the injury to him last year, to him to sit back and watch, and again, that's such a different game. The speeds of the game, the college game, the professional game, for him to maybe have that whole year to be a student and not have any kind of a pressure on him whatsoever. Nobody on the back, and nobody in the in the stands, or nobody in the press box pointing, hey, this guy should be in, this guy should be in. He could soak it all in. And from what I understand, he's a student of the game. And we're going to see, like you said, didn't play much in the preseason, and that's by design. And the Minnesota Vikings had to make a move. They decided we don't have a strong enough backup in acquiring former North Dakota Bison Carson Wentz. So he has a little bit of a tie, because that's only 3 hours away from him, or from us, and then only 4 hours away from the Twin Cities. So it's going to be interesting to see how the quarterback situation and that 1-2 punch now we can do. And then with Thielen and Justin Jefferson, it's going to be a great year, I think.
Well, you know what we're really going to find out here, and we have a lot of Vikings fans who watch this show. I have a lot of Viking fan friends. We're going to find out, Kevin O'Connell's the head coach, right? We're going to find out how much he had to do with the Sam Darnold success last year. Was it Sam Darnold? Was it Kevin O'Connell? You know what I mean? Because with JJ, I love him from the Michigan days, but this, I would think there's a little bit of nervousness going in on behalf of the Vikings fans and maybe the Vikings themselves, because you don't know how this kid's going to do. Nobody knows.
It's the unknown. Completely. It's the unknown. And but I do think because they've had that success. The Vikings have had that success with that bubbling, and then last year when we saw Kirk Cousins injury causing the season-ending injury. And you've seen this with other guys coming off the bench with the Minnesota Vikings, and then they just basically had a successful season, didn't win anything, but the season wasn't a total loss. And then they say, okay, McCarthy's our guy. Sam, gone, right? You're gone. Thanks a lot. Here's your last check, and we'll see what happens.
Laverne in Swift Current, he's always got the great questions. Laverne writes in and says, hey, if there's time, let's get Dave, the sports doctor's pick, as who's his surprise team in the NFL for the upcoming season, because we've been asking all of our NFL pundits on the air. I guess you're an NFL pundit, Dave, now. And not to lob you a grenade here. I think you can handle it. But who do you think will be the surprise team in the NFL this year?
It's hard to say, because looking at the odds and stuff, and Baltimore's up there, and the Detroit Lions I think the odds they may be third spot in there, and Buffalo's always up in there. I don't know. I'm going to stick my neck out and say the surprise team will be the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. Well, let's delve into that for a second. They're coming off a 15. How many wins they have? 14 wins last year? 14 wins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you say surprise, they were the surprise team in a lot of ways last year. What do you think the win total will be this year?
Yeah, I mean, surprise would be because I believe they'll go a little deeper in the playoffs. That's where I think that's what will be, because we'll see some, like you've said, just like when I talked about the Saskatchewan Roughriders bubbling. I think this will be the year that you could go deep. You could maybe see them in the NFC Championship game.
Well, for your sake, I hope so. And the Super Bowl. I mean, I made my Super Bowl pick in my weekend newsletter, and I've said Detroit, Buffalo. You just go look at the power rankings, though. It is a murderer's row of really good teams in the NFC alone. Lions, yep. Vikings, Eagles. I kind of wonder where my Dallas Cowboys are going to fit in, which, by the way, have you watched the Netflix series America's Team?
No, I'm on quarterbacks right now. So the Cowboys one will be my next view, but I'm on probably 2 episodes deep into quarterbacks, and that's fantastic.
Okay, well, that'll be next on my list, because I just finished the Dallas Cowboys documentary, and everybody wants to talk about it. I'm also soliciting people's opinions on the series. Who do you like out of the two, Jerry Jones or Jimmy Johnson? I know you probably hate the Dallas Cowboys. Most people do. But everybody seems to have an opinion on that drama. We got 2 minutes left, Dave. Give me a Jets update. I'm sure they can't wait for the training camp to open.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, that's for sure. Jonathan Taves, part of the Winnipeg Jets lineup. Nikolai Ehlers is no longer. He's a Carolina member of the Carolina Hurricanes. Can they replace the dynamic play of Nikolai Ehlers will be the storyline going into this season, because although 10 years with Winnipeg, he had some spectacular seasons. It's probably might have been saying that he might have been unfulfilled potential. Like, he never really became the league superstar that I think a lot of people thought, but he was a damn good player. And then Jonathan Taves, nothing can take away with that guy, with the Stanley Cup championships, the leadership that he brings to this team. But can he go on the ice, and can the Jets replace Nikolai Ehlers? We've got the goaltending, you got solid defense. There's like minimal changes this year, but Ehlers, with that will be the dynamic factor. Are they able to replace the firepower of Ehlers?
A quick yes or no. Will Ehlers be booed when Carolina comes through town?
I don't think he'll be booed. He's not in that Jacob Trouba type of a player, like that league. That he never, he's explained it nicely. That it's just for me time to move on. Like, it was just like saying, I've been 10 years here. It's time to love. He said all the right things on the way out, and there's no reason, because he was a pretty good part of the community. Like, a lot of people would see the guy walking his dog, and he always had time for everybody. So I think he's one of those nice guys. And
like you. We're out of time. Thank you, David. See you Saturday night. The sports doctor, Dave Petrishen. Thanks for coming on, my guy. Always enjoy my time with him. We'll be back with a sports update, viewer takeover the rest of the way right here on Game Plus TV.